Truth is truth. Whether it comes from a scientific laboratory, truth is truth and is never in contradiction with another.
Russell M. Nelson, a name you might recognize as the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, has led a life that feels almost too extraordinary to be real. Groundbreaking surgeon? Check. Visionary religious leader at 100 years old? Double check. But behind all the accomplishments lies a story so heartbreaking, so human, it's hard to believe one man has carried this much. How does someone endure a lot of pain and yet still find the strength to inspire millions? Stick with me, because by the time we're done, you'll understand why. Let's dive in. A lifetime of medical knowledge meets personal trial. Dr. Russell M. Nelson's life story is nothing short of extraordinary. He is a man who excelled as a world-renowned heart surgeon, performing nearly 7,000 operations, only to eventually find himself experiencing the patient side of medicine. Do you know that he graduated first in his class at the tender age of 22? That's exactly what he did at the University of Utah, setting the stage for an illustrious career that would shape the future of heart surgery. Not only did he perform Utah's first open heart surgery in 1955, but his innovative contributions also included developing the first heart-lung bypass machine compact enough to use in operating rooms. Doesn't that make you marvel at how one person can have such a profound impact on medicine? His groundbreaking work earned him accolades like the Distinguished Alumni Award from the University of Utah and the Heart of Gold Award from the American Heart Association. If that wasn't impressive enough, even 3 universities in China honored him with professorships, cementing his influence on a global scale. But something shocking happened that had many thinking about how ironic life could be. At 100 years old, Russell M. Nelson has led with wisdom, faith, and unwavering strength. But just moments ago, heartbreaking news about his life has left millions of Latter-day Saints and followers across the world in tears. What happened to the beloved leader of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? And how will this impact the global community he has inspired for decades? Stay with me, because the truth behind this devastating update will leave you speechless. Isn't it something to think about how life has a way of humbling even the most accomplished among us? After decades of saving lives, Dr. Nelson found himself navigating life as a patient. In May 2023, he shared openly about his health challenges as he approached his 100th year. He candidly spoke about his balance issues, which might sound minor until you consider how active and dynamic he has always been. Yet, in true Dr. Nelson fashion, he maintains a spirit of gratitude and optimism. How many people, when faced with aging and its accompanying challenges, can still say with a smile, "My heart is good, my spirit is strong, as are my legs, and my brain still works"? Isn't that the kind of resilience we all wish we could channel? Now, think about this. Being both a doctor and a patient must create a fascinating dynamic. Dr. Nelson, who spent years advising patients to take slow and careful approaches to recovery, now finds himself in the same position. His back injury and the health issues he faces have forced him to take his own advice, something he admits to doing diligently. He even joked about feeling duty-bound to follow his doctor's orders since he had given similar guidance to countless patients over the years. And here's something to think about: how does someone with such deep medical expertise manage their health without overanalyzing or second-guessing every recommendation? Dr. Nelson's years of experience gave him an edge in understanding the importance of proper care and recovery. He knows better than most the delicate balance required for healing and how rushing the process can lead to setbacks. Yet, what's truly remarkable is how he pairs that clinical knowledge with profound faith, embracing both science and spirituality as he handles this chapter of life. Whether as a surgeon, a patient, or simply a man of unwavering faith, Dr. Nelson continues to inspire by showing that every stage of life, even the most challenging ones, can be approached with courage and a touch of humor. In the light of appreciating who he is as a person, let's delve into his impact and leadership in the church he served in. The impact on church leadership. Under President Nelson's guidance, the church's leadership has shown remarkable resilience, adapting with grace and efficiency to challenges that would test even the most seasoned leader. When his health required adjustments, the first presidency didn't skip a beat, pivoting to innovative approaches that kept the church's administration running smoothly. The administrative structure of the church saw some significant changes during this time, all aimed at supporting President Nelson's recovery while ensuring the continuity of his leadership. As we know, leadership is not just about doing everything yourself, is it? President Nelson embraced delegation in a way that many leaders could learn from. He didn't just offload tasks, he mastered the art of delegation by following 3 guiding principles. First, he kept an open-door policy for counsel and guidance, which meant that even though tasks were handed over, he was still very much present. Doesn't that show a certain humility and trust in his team? Second, he listened actively and provided clear direction, ensuring that no one was left guessing about their roles or responsibilities. Finally, he focused on strengthening others, offering support but not micromanaging. Isn't that the kind of leadership everyone hopes for, someone who empowers rather than controls? This approach fostered confidence among other church leaders and ensured the administrative ship sailed smoothly. It's like when a team captain steps back but keeps the morale high and the plays clear, the team keeps winning because the foundation is strong. And that's exactly what President Nelson achieved. But what about the spiritual side of things? After all, leadership in the church isn't just about administration, it's about guiding with love, faith, and vision. Despite any physical limitations, President Nelson's spiritual guidance has remained as steadfast as ever. His influence continues to flow through qualities like gentleness, meekness, and love, qualities that define his Christ-centered approach to leadership. Doesn't it feel like such a breath of fresh air when leaders lead with their hearts? Under his direction, the church even announced 36 new missions for 2024. As if that wasn't enough, they leaned into modern tools and collaborated seamlessly to manage church affairs, ensuring that President Nelson could balance his recovery with his responsibilities. President Nelson's dedication to the Lord's work shines brighter than ever. His words, "I know them, love them, and pledge to serve them and you with every remaining breath of my life," resonate deeply, don't they? They reflect a profound commitment not just to his faith but to the people he serves. The adjustments and adaptations made during this time ensured that the church's administrative and spiritual functions continued seamlessly. It's like watching a master conductor orchestrate a symphony, where every note plays in perfect harmony, no matter the challenges. Russell M. Nelson, at the forefront of spiritual leadership for decades, has just faced news so heartbreaking that it has moved millions to tears. What's happening to the beloved president of the LDS Church, and why is this moment so deeply significant? Stay until the end, because this story will leave you reflecting on faith, leadership, and the fragility of life. Family's response to the news. One fact about the Nelson family is that they are a shining example of unwavering love and support. Together, they have been standing firmly to uplift their patriarch, President Russell M. Nelson, through every challenge life throws their way. They don't just support him in grand gestures but in the everyday, quiet acts of kindness that show how deeply they care, through heartfelt prayers, thoughtful messages, and a constant presence that never wavers. Their bond is like a sturdy tree with roots that run deep and wide, spanning generations. President Nelson's 10 children are the heart of this unwavering support system, each bringing their own strength and faith to the table. Take Lori Marsh, his 7th child, for instance. She often compares her own journey of trusting her father's prophetic role to Nephi's faith and Lehi's guidance. Isn't that such a profound connection to make? It's not just about respecting their father, it's about having a collective faith that propels them forward. The children genuinely believe in the power of putting the Lord first, a teaching passed down by their father, and they've witnessed miracles unfold in their lives because of it. Then there's Russell Nelson Jr., the youngest sibling, whose admiration for his father goes beyond mere familial love. He values his dad's practical approach to leadership and life, which isn't about sticking rigidly to rules but about striving to be more Christ-like and selfless. It's this perspective that makes their family dynamic so relatable and real. They're not perfect, but they're trying their best, just like everyone else. Beyond emotional support, the siblings go the extra mile to ensure their family stays connected, even with their own busy lives and the physical distances between them. A key pillar in all this is Sister Wendy Nelson, President Nelson's wife, who plays an irreplaceable role in his continued service. Her background as a marriage and family therapist brings a unique depth to their partnership, and together, they have a bond that seems to grow stronger with every passing day. Wendy has often noticed how her husband has positively changed since accepting his prophetic calling, saying he looks younger and happier despite the demands of his role. Isn't it amazing how love and purpose can rejuvenate someone? She's the one making sure he gets enough rest, even as he maintains his relentless schedule, and she does it with so much grace and care. Before the pandemic, these gatherings were more frequent, with monthly events where President Nelson would even sing or whistle happy birthday for those celebrating. While the pandemic forced them to rely on Zoom calls instead, the warmth of their connection didn't fade. In fact, Gloria Irian, one of President Nelson's daughters, marvels at how prayers from people around the world have worked in a miraculous way to support her father. Technology now helps them bridge the physical distances, allowing missionaries and far-flung family members to stay involved. Twice a year, they make it a point to gather in person, once in July at Midway and again at Christmas time. With their numbers growing so large, they've had to move these gatherings to church buildings instead of family homes, but the atmosphere remains just as intimate and joyful. The private struggles. President Nelson's private moments reveal a whole other side to the man people mostly see at the pulpit or leading official gatherings. When he recently opened up about using mobility aids, it felt like a significant, almost tender, shift in the daily rhythms of someone who has spent a lifetime in service and motion. Imagine someone who has always been so vibrant and active quietly acknowledging the changes that come with age. It's a rare glimpse into the personal world of a leader whose public persona often seems unshakable. And really, isn't it fascinating how such small details, like the use of a cane or a walker, can feel so humanizing? It reveals that no matter how high the pedestal, everyone faces the passage of time. In those quiet moments of reflection, President Nelson's background as a heart surgeon must bring a unique perspective to his own aging process. Who better to understand the mechanics of the human body than someone who's spent decades literally holding lives in his hands? But beyond the science, there's a spiritual depth to his reflections that seems to add an extra layer to how he views this phase of life. As he nears his 100th birthday, he seems to balance a profound awareness of his physical limitations with an unshakable confidence in his spiritual purpose. "My heart is good, my spirit is strong as are my legs, and my brain still works," he wrote in one of his social media posts, candid, almost self-assured, but also tinged with the kind of humor that reminds you he's as human as the rest of us. His doctor's carefully tailored recovery plan, designed with the utmost consideration for his age, is a subtle testament to just how special his case is. After all, how many people get to lead with both wisdom and vitality at 99? But even with physical challenges, his spiritual resilience seems untouchable. Honestly, how does he do it? He's often spoken about life's trials, once remarking, "Not a season of life passes without temptation, trial, or torment, whether spiritually or physically." That wisdom doesn't come from a vacuum. It's a lived experience. For someone who's lived nearly a century, those words carry weight. And what's remarkable is how he doesn't just endure trials, he seems to find strength in them. When he suffered a bad fall that hurt his back muscles, instead of focusing on the pain or inconvenience, he turned his attention to the global prayers being offered on his behalf. "Your prayers have lifted my spirits and bolstered my courage and my great desire to soldier on," he shared with gratitude that felt deeply personal. Isn't it amazing how he always finds a way to turn even the hardest moments into lessons of faith and resilience? And through it all, his family seems to be his anchor. One can just imagine the kind of strength and love it takes to handle life's challenges with the unwavering support of a close-knit family. His bond with his wife, Wendy, is the kind of partnership that makes you believe in the power of shared faith and unconditional support. There's a quiet joy in their relationship that feels almost poetic, like a reminder that love isn't just about grand gestures but about showing up for each other in the day-to-day. One of his granddaughters shared a story that really hits home. "I locked eyes on him and felt his undeniable love and support. I don't think he explicitly knew that I was struggling, but his gentle dependability was grounding for a young, unsure girl." Doesn't that just make you think about how often the smallest acts of kindness can have the biggest impact? For the Nelson family, faith is the thread that ties everything together. His daughter Lori Marsh talks about the life lesson that's become their family mantra: love the Lord, put Him first, and watch miracles happen. It's simple, but isn't it also profound? And Russell Nelson Jr. adds his own perspective, describing how their faith isn't just a set of rules but a way of being, a guide for becoming more Christ-like. That's the kind of legacy most people dream of leaving behind. What's especially inspiring is how President Nelson manages to balance it all. Despite his incredibly full schedule, he prioritizes meaningful connections with his family. His grandson, Russell Arian, can't help but marvel at his grandfather's remarkable traits. He's studied dozens of languages, he's a pioneer in his field and career, he was always researching there, and then his insatiable appetite for spiritual learning. It's almost overwhelming to think about all the layers of his character. And yet, even with everything on his plate, the family remains at the center of it all. It's not just about spending time together, it's about creating moments that matter, the kind of moments that cut across generations. Russell M. Nelson has been a source of spiritual strength for countless people around the world. But today, heartbreaking news has left his followers reeling. What happened to the man who has led with so much love and compassion? And how is the LDS Church responding to this emotional moment? Stick with me, because the details of this story will touch your heart in ways you never expected. For 134 years, the Church has perfected a smooth leadership transition system rooted in well-thought-out procedures that keep everything running without a hitch. It's almost like a masterfully rehearsed play. Every person knows their role, and when the time comes, the next leader steps up seamlessly. Can you imagine an organization running this smoothly for over a century? It's impressive, to say the least. This system places the longest-serving member of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles as the next president of the Church, ensuring continuity and order. No drama, no scrambling, just a calm and steady passing of the baton. Take Dallin Oaks, for instance. He's next in line under this time-tested protocol, followed by M. Russell Ballard. This isn't just a plan for today or tomorrow, it's a long-term, inspired arrangement that keeps the Church spiritually and administratively steady, even during moments of transition. Now, let's talk about the administrative side of things. Keeping an organization as vast and intricate as the Church running smoothly requires more than just spiritual guidance. The First Presidency is at the heart of this effort, tirelessly maintaining reliable frameworks through initiatives that touch every corner of Church life. Think about it. They've updated general handbooks, restructured priesthood quorums, modified youth programs, and refined temple and family history procedures. Each of these changes is like a small piece of a larger puzzle, working together to ensure everything aligns perfectly. But that's not all. Under President Nelson's leadership, these updates have been nothing short of transformative. For instance, guidelines for youth interviews have been refined, and temple policies have been adjusted to better meet the needs of today's members. These adjustments showcase not only the Church's dedication to good governance but also its willingness to adapt and grow. Since President Nelson took the helm in 2018, the Church has undergone a lot of major changes. Each of these adjustments reflects an organization that isn't afraid to evolve while staying true to its core principles. The succession plan plays a big role in this because it focuses not only on preparation but also on continuity. Every apostle is constantly learning and growing, gaining the skills and wisdom they'll need when their turn comes to lead. It's like a lifelong apprenticeship, and it's worked beautifully through multiple transitions. In the end, this system is more than just a plan, it reveals the wealth of inspired leadership and careful stewardship behind it. And this ensures that no matter what challenges arise, the Church remains steady, adaptable, and ready to meet the needs of its members. Isn't that something worth admiring? The members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints have always been known for their deep sense of community, faith, and unwavering support for their leaders, but the love and dedication they've shown to President Russell M. Nelson feel nothing short of extraordinary. How can you tell when someone is truly beloved by all? It shows when people come together from every corner of the globe, united in their prayers, actions, and intentions, all with one shared purpose, to uplift their leader and to bring positive change to the world. That's the type of outpouring of love President Nelson is and has been experiencing. It's not every day you see such an overwhelming outpouring of support, but here, it's like second nature to them. Doesn't that make you stop and think about the power of collective faith and kindness? Let's start with the global impact. Under President Nelson's leadership, the Church's humanitarian efforts have expanded so much that in 2023 alone, they provided $1.30 billion in aid. Let that sink in, over $1 billion. And this isn't just about throwing money at problems, it's strategic, heartfelt, and focused on the most vulnerable. They're tackling women and children's health issues, partnering with organizations like UNICEF in Mozambique, working with Save the Children, and even lending a hand to the World Food Program. Isn't it amazing how one organization can touch so many lives across continents? And when crises hit, like the devastating Israel-Hamas conflict, the Church didn't hesitate to step in, pouring millions into physical and mental health care services for people on both sides of the conflict. And that's not all, they've supported refugees worldwide, even providing 500 foam mats for displaced individuals in Sacramento, California. Talk about compassion in action. But this support doesn't just happen on a large scale, it's deeply rooted in the actions of local congregations. A typical example of this happened in Montreal. Did you know that church members came together to raise over $750,000 for local homeless shelters? Isn't that incredible? And when wildfires ravaged Maui, congregations banded together to offer emergency shelters and hotel vouchers for families who had lost everything. It's these local efforts that show how connected the members are to their communities, always ready to lend a hand when someone's in need. And then there's President Nelson himself, an inspiring leader who's not afraid to be vulnerable. When he opened up about his health challenges, like needing mobility aids and struggling with balance, it was as if the entire church leaned in closer. His honesty made him more relatable, more human, and it deepened the connection members felt toward him. He also went ahead to acknowledge the collective prayers and good wishes pouring in when he said, "Thank you for your prayers for me during the last 2 months." It's moments like these that remind you how faith and empathy can bring people together in the most beautiful ways. Social media played a huge role in amplifying this connection. Members from all over the world flooded platforms with personal testimonies and messages of support. One member, Cheryl, wrote a heartfelt message saying, "We all love you so much and appreciate all the wise words from the Lord you share with us." Isn't it heartwarming to think of people taking the time to share their love and gratitude in such a public way? And when President Nelson fell in September and injured his back muscles, the response was overwhelming. He later said the prayers and messages opened the heavens. How incredible is that, to feel the tangible impact of people's faith and goodwill? And then there's the resilience he showed. Even while recovering, he attended First Presidency meetings virtually and slowly returned to his office duties. Imagine the joy Mindy must have felt when she shared, "Such great news to be back in the office. So wonderful to see you sitting behind your big beautiful desk." It's these little glimpses into his journey that make his leadership so inspiring. All of this, every prayer, every act of service, every heartfelt message, paints a picture of a church community that is deeply united, not just by faith but by a shared sense of purpose. They're not just supporting their leader, they're living out the very principles he stands for: compassion, service, and unwavering dedication. Doesn't that make you wonder what the world could be like if more communities were this committed to each other and to the greater good? It's truly something special, and it's a testament to the power of collective action and faith. In a world where leaders often falter, Russell M. Nelson has stood as a symbol of unwavering faith. But now, heartbreaking news about his journey has surfaced, and it's shaking the very foundation of his followers' hearts. But amidst this challenge, will there be light at the end of the tunnel? Let's find out. Hope amid challenge. President Russell M. Nelson's journey through health challenges is a remarkable blend of grace, expertise, and unwavering faith. At 99 years old, he has faced these trials with the resilience of someone who knows both the complexities of the human body and the boundless possibilities of spiritual strength. When his physician recommended a careful and deliberate approach to recovery following a fall in September, it wasn't just another medical protocol, it was a plan tailored to someone whose life has been shaped by both science and faith. Doesn't it make you wonder how someone with such immense knowledge of the human body processes the idea of healing at such a venerable age? Medical professionals have created a detailed recovery roadmap for President Nelson, focusing on rebuilding muscle strength and maintaining his overall well-being. The plan includes physical therapy to strengthen his muscles, carefully monitored periods of rest to avoid strain, and a gradual return to his usual routine. There's even the integration of mobility support systems designed specifically to accommodate his needs. It's not a race to the finish line, it's about slow, steady progress. And isn't that a lesson in itself? How often do we rush through our own recoveries, forgetting that true healing takes time? President Nelson's unique background as a pioneering cardiac surgeon gives him an extraordinary perspective on his own treatment. He doesn't just follow medical advice blindly, he understands the why behind every step. Imagine the irony of someone who once held the lives of countless patients in his hands now relying on others to guide him back to full strength. But he does so with humility and grace, blending his medical knowledge with his profound spiritual insights. His reflections on the human body are both scientific and deeply spiritual. As someone who once revolutionized cardiac surgery, he marvels at the miracle of a heartbeat, a phenomenon he attributes not to medical equipment but to a divine source. "I realize that my own heart beats night and day, and I'm not plugging it into any source of power but with the gift from our Heavenly Father," he shared. Isn't that a humbling thought? To recognize that even with all the advancements in science, some things remain beautifully, inexplicably divine. Even while navigating his own recovery, President Nelson hasn't taken a step back from his responsibilities as a spiritual leader. Under his guidance, the church announced the creation of 36 new missions for 2024, a testament to what he calls the Lord hastening his work. Messages of encouragement flow both to and from President Nelson. President Henry B. Eyring, his second counselor, shared, "He's driven by his faith. We talked about the Lord being a great physician. This is a great physician. Those words encapsulate how President Nelson approaches his recovery, not just as a patient but as someone guided by trust in divine wisdom. His gratitude for the prayers and support he's received is palpable. "Thank you for your prayers for me during the last 2 months," he said, his voice filled with genuine appreciation. He also shared how these prayers have lifted my spirits and bolstered my courage and my great desire to soldier on. Doesn't it warm your heart to see someone so accomplished still leaning on the strength of community and faith? Through it all, President Nelson teaches profound lessons about resilience and gratitude. He encourages us to focus on blessings rather than burdens, a mindset that transforms adversity into an opportunity for growth. Isn't it interesting how gratitude can shift our perspective, even in the hardest times? His optimism doesn't just apply to his personal circumstances, he extends it to global challenges, seeing trials as opportunities for unity and spiritual growth. His messages inspire hope and emphasize the importance of gratitude, even when life feels overwhelming. As he continues to guide the church and its members, President Nelson remains a symbol of faith, dedication, and resilience. His ability to combine medical wisdom with spiritual strength creates a foundation that not only supports his recovery but also inspires countless others. Doesn't it make you wonder how much more we could achieve if we approached our challenges with the same blend of grace, faith, and determination? President Nelson's journey is a masterclass in living with purpose, even in the face of profound challenges. With this, we have come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, do well to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. To enjoy more thrilling stories, click now on the following video that pops up on your screen.